Okay, thank you so much for inviting me to present here. Probably quickly about myself. I'm now more than 30 years working for this nice company, SAP. Started as a developer, then also doing UI development with my teams. And then more than 20 years ago, I found my passion for user experience and design. And I was driving the design with my team of SAP Business by Design and some of the new on-demand cloud solutions. And 9 years ago, I was asked to build up the AppHaus team and to talk a little bit about this in a second. And I tell you, the last years were really eye-opening for me. And I really realized what huge business value you can create if you use design on a more strategic level. Therefore, I would like to start talking about from UX design to business design, what I see as the new reality. And one question to engage all of you first is probably you can put into the chat is would be interesting. Where are you guys coming from, and what role are you? Are you designer? Are you developer? Yeah, just enter it into the chat. Would really be interested to see who's in the call. Probably give you some seconds. Potsdam, developer, good. I was in Potsdam 2 weeks ago at the Design Thinking Impact Week at the HPI Institute. More comments? Designer from Bulgaria, great. And Waldorf, developer. Perfect. More developers than designers, at least so far. I'm looking forward to get out your feedback after the presentation. Let's probably start. AppHaus, BD, welcome BD. Perfect. Good to have everybody here at the call. Yeah, I would like to start with one question: is why did Sony not invent the iPod? Anybody have an idea? Feel free also to speak up. And I can also tell you, at the time when the iPod came out, Sony was #1 in music licenses. They were #1 in a global distribution network. That means they could distribute all of that stuff worldwide. And they even invented the Walkman, the Discman, and they were part of MP3 player. The reason why the iPod was successful is because they cracked the end-to-end experience. And Sony was still optimizing their silos. They were #1 in each silo, but I think Apple really cracked the end-to-end experience. Now also, if you look at what other companies are doing, the Netflix, the Ubers, the Airbnbs, I think there's still some probably old examples, but I think what I'm talking about is still true. Why are they successful? And I think if you look at what they do and also see what's happening in the market is in the new world, it's not anymore that the big fishes, the big company, eat the small companies. It's the fast fishes which eat the slow fishes. And this is what you see with many big companies. You see also Kodak growing, even inventing the digital camera, but not succeeding because they get slow. And what are the insights that you take out of what is Netflix, Uber, Airbnb? What are they doing differently? For sure, they all use technology as an enabler of disruption. No question. Yeah. And new technologies are constantly coming out. Yeah? But what they also focus on a lot is a superior end-to-end customer experience. And 70% of the CEOs see user experience as a competitive differentiator. You see the companies, our customers, SAP customers, see also UX as a real differentiator. The third thing that these companies have, they have a culture of innovation. Now, if you look at, it's also an insight from the People Business, a magazine, 85% of business leaders report that digitization is their company's top priority. They all want to move to digitize, want to move in the cloud. But very often, there is excessive focus just on technology itself. But many leaders simply overlook the importance of planning, preparing with people in mind. This means the focus in this transformation of involving the people and having a culture of innovation with the company. Last but not least, if you look at these companies, they started all as startups. They have business resilience. They adapt their business model very fast on new different needs. And I think this is where SAP is really helping, where we enable every enterprise to become an intelligent, sustainable enterprise. We have, best practices in our business process, in our standard applications, but we also have the business technology platform where customers can very fast innovate and build also custom-specific solutions to continue to be really successful in the market, to adapt to fast-changing needs. But overall, if you look at it, the success criteria, and honestly, this is not a new picture. Yeah? It's really about combining business, technology, and the human aspects. Yeah? And very often still we talk a lot about business and technology, but not enough on the human aspects. And I think in two dimensions, from an experience point of view, but also the human aspect from an employee point of view. Yeah? Then if you also look at this formula, what is innovation all about? It is creativity multiplied with execution. And what I see very often happening, people talk a lot about design thinking, about methods. People want to be creative. But if you look at innovation, what finally matters is getting innovation executed into the hands of end users. And if you look at this formula, it's really about combining both. But we are all trained. Also, if you look at our school system, we are problem solvers. Yeah? I think the majority of people, and we're really good in doing this. Yeah? Here's a problem, we solve it. But this leads only to incremental innovations. Creativity is all about finding the right problem to solve. Yeah? And this is getting to breakthrough innovations. And it's really about the combination of both. And I think what is really important, if you look at innovation, not just about having ideas, not just about having visualized cool ideas and cool mock-ups or cool POC. It's all about making it real and then scaling it. And my team, the AppHaus team, we did more than 1,000 customer projects in the last 9 years. And out of our experience, we also created this SAP's human-centered approach to innovation, which is a very agile approach where we combine design thinking, design doing, and architecture thinking. We talk about enterprise architecture because you need to make innovation real in the custom environment, in the complex. And I just last week was at a UX Design Council meeting of the top SAP customers. Some of these customers have 150 productive SAP systems to run the show, plus also other software. Yeah? And if you build something, an innovation, it needs to run in the environment. And what we did, we combined now design thinking, methods, tools, best practices, but also design best practices and enterprise architecture best practices into this human-centered approach. And it is an approach that helps companies to deliver innovation in a systematic and efficient way. And sometimes our projects run, 4 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, depending on that. It can also be a 1-year project, but I think it's really about being agile and making things real. And you find on our webpage, AppHaus@sap.com Toolkit, lots of tools, best practices for all the phases that you can use in your project, and that's all for free. And it's all about creating customer value business outcome. But I mentioned in the beginning also the topic of innovation culture. That means successful companies also have within their organization a culture of innovation. And for sure, process is one element. Yeah? But it's just one element. It's all also about having people, a multidisciplinary project team, which means business skills, technical skills, design thinking, design doing skills to focus on the human aspect. The place has an impact on creativity, and for sure, ideal is a physical space, but now meanwhile also the hybrid space or the virtual space, which fosters creativity. And leadership is important. In this new world where our customers and the companies need to adapt very fast their business, this top-down leadership style is too slow. That means you need to turn into a new way of leading, empowering employees, applying a new way of leadership that you become faster as an organization. And last but not least, all of the 4 elements I talked before is all good and helpful, but if you cannot make it real with technology, you just looked at the culture. I think it's really about the technology part, making innovation real with SAP products, with the business technology platform, say in the SAP context is important. And for all of these enablers, we also have tools, best practice available, learning materials out of our experience that you can use in your customer projects also for free. Now, we see a big avalanche coming with this intelligent enterprise. Customers really have need to transform. And I tell you, I'm now in UX and design since more than 20 years. And I'm really so excited because there's never been a better time for designers from my point of view. But there's an uncertainty, and in the designer community also. Which direction is it going? How can I develop as a designer? How can I make a bigger impact to the world also? I like to sometimes get also the feedback, or I hear designers complaining, we're just seen as artists, and people don't take us serious, the business technology people. And I would like to make an example. If they look at the chair, that is Gary Knox Bennett's chair, which is in the Fuller Craft Museum in Brockton, for sure. Beautiful design, probably lots of design prizes. Great design, great art. However, the design on the other side, this famous Vitra chair, also great design, but leading to huge business. And I think as a designer, you make the biggest contribution, and your knowledge and your skills will be most valued by companies if you can support the business. And what I see as designers, we preach always to business and technology people. You have to involve the end user. You have to focus on design. You have to create mock-ups and visualize. You have to follow our human-centered approach. But then, if you get into customer, and not everybody, but still many people, if it's in the very concrete project, you say, well, what we do? We focus just on the human part. You guys are the technical experts, and you are the business people. And I think this behavior leads also to the perception that designers are sometimes seen as artists. This means, based on my learning that I had, is drink our own champagne. And this means also designers need to better understand a little bit about the technology. what are the constraints, what are the opportunities, but also about the business. Yeah? You don't need to become a business expert, but at least you need to understand the basics. Yeah? And then you create real business value with design, and then you make a big impact. And also would like to probably, we have, and I see this even at in our customer projects, because customers starting building up also UX design skills in the organizations, design thinking skills in the organizations. And if you look a little bit at the history, it started with visual design, product design, software design, UX design, and design thinking came, which is used a little bit more strategically. And honestly, all is really rooted in human-centered, involving the end users into this approach. However, you see since, 2015, something like that, design thinking, UX design became even much more prominent. And this is somewhere just a Google search about the keywords. Now we still see the silos. We have design doing, which is user research, interaction design, visual design. And then we have sometimes design thinking teams, we're focused more on problem fighting, co-creation, business model innovation. But honestly, it's not too far away from each other. Yeah? I think if you look at the history, how it developed, it started with product design, with visual design. Then we had user research, interaction design. Then it continues about more using it for problem finding, co-creation, business model innovation. It's more from doing to thinking. And what I see is the things are coming together. It's not a more, and sometimes we organizationally say, here's some design thinkers and here's some usability UX designers. I see, and that's also what we did in our AppHaus team. They're really working very close together. And typically, user researcher, a great design thinker. Yeah. And it's a really great opportunity to really work here. And you need to have still good user experience design experts who know how to design screens, who know the best practices, how to design the perfect experience. But these are not two different camps. What I see also at our customers, sometimes in the same organization, they have a usability team, and then they build in parallel a design thinking team. And the usability teams are like, hey, what are these guys doing? Why? They do similar things as we do. But I think that if we leverage the power of combining the skills here, I think we have much more impact as a design community. Now, the new reality for me is, for sure, the human aspect, focusing on design thinking, design doing. We have architectural thinking, which is looking at an enterprise architecture, making innovation real. And we have the business thinking. And I think the designers who understand more about technology and more about business will have a bright future. And there are not too many. Yeah? And you see, meanwhile, that more and more company leaders are coming out of the design discipline. But not just because they are good designers, because they understand how to run a business. They also are interested in learning about technology works. And therefore, I think it is a great opportunity. It's a great learning and development opportunity as a designer to learn more about, I think, the technology and also the business aspect. Now, let's make one example. Roy Greenland, one project one of our AppHaus network partner was doing. This is about sustainable fishing with an iOS-friendly app. What they did, starting with an explore workshop, getting fishermen, business IT into one room, looking where is a high-value use case. Then, for sure, stepping in the shoes of the end users, observing how the fishermen work, how they catch, how they really work with how they sell the fishes, and how is all of the things working. Then creating mock-ups, visualizing, and you see them in the world doing this together as a team. Then also looking, how can this be made real in the customer environment using the business technology platform? What is needed? How is the connection in this case to the on-premise system? Applying architectural thinking. And for sure, finally, making it real. Building the app, getting it in the hands of the people. And what's the business outcome? 2,200 fishermen use the app. 70,000 purchase orders converted from paper to digital. That's worth 4 billion Danish crowns of fiscal envy and 0 hours of training required. Honestly, that's a real business benefit. And the fishermen can now see immediately how much money they're earning when they sell the fishes. And I think therefore I want to give this example that you get an end-to-end picture about, okay, what's the goal? What do we want to achieve? And then you see the big value of applying this design-led approach. Now, another example I want to give, which is a little bit more strategic, was a project we did at Rolls-Royce MTU. They built this ship motors, this diesel motors you see on the right side, and they wanted to transform the company, becoming a service organization. It's a huge company transformation. And what they did, reporting to the chief digital officer, they built up a team of 80 people driving this transformation. They hired 10 design thinking coaches. We trained them. We enabled them how to run such a process in the organization, they also helped them build them a creative space, driving the transformation in their organization, and also helping them how to build also solutions on top of the platform. Now, they are driving the transformation now within their company. And there's a great example where we not just provide as SAP the technology, but we also enable our customers to focus on the people aspect, because 50% of the screens that our SAP users use, or even more, are not built by SAP. They are built by partners and very often even by the customer IT organization on their own. And partners, as well as our customers who build on top of SAP technology, we want that they build beautiful experiences. And therefore, they need to understand also how to do it. That means to change the perception at SAP, of SAP at our customers, it's not sufficient just to have beautiful products. We also need to influence the ecosystem and our customers to design and develop in the right way. Now, we all know SAP Fiori user experience across all of our products. Was also, we started 2013, we were part of this initiative in the very beginning, also working with Nestle as an example, and it's now applied all over SAP over time. You all know it's big challenge to get 300,000 screens transformed into a new experience using different technology stacks, but we are on a good way here. And for sure, as a designer, you need to understand and we need to involve the Fiori experience, also into leveraging new technologies, no question. But what do I see as the role of the designer 2.0? First of all, the designer is the connector. I think we are the people, we have empathic skills. We have empathy, we can really bring people together. The technical people, the business skills, professionals, customers, end users. I think we are really the connectors, and we need to learn new skills. Many people say, okay, we have user research, interaction, visual design, but this is, would say, still vertical, but it's also about learning business and technology skills. Then also think beyond the screen. It's not just about designing a beautiful user interface. It's about people start speaking with systems, listening, tasting, seeing, touching. That means, honestly, the best experience is if no interaction is needed at all. If things are using, probably parts of the things are done using artificial intelligence, that some of the standard work is done automatically and the people are just used to really, in the cases where reaction of people is needed. But I think we need to think beyond the screens. And I think also one recommendation, practice clear communication. I think I learned that the picture says more than 1,000 words. That means creating mock-ups, visualizing. That's the language that a CEO understands, IT understands, the end user understands. And therefore, the power of creating user stories, the power of creating mockups. It's really, really huge. Because now we create so much PowerPoints with boxes on it and text on it where it's misinterpreted. I think this is one of my big learnings, this design-led approach where we do research, look what is our visualizing the ideas. We even did projects to reimagine new business models, to reimagine business processes, and also tell a story. And here you see a tool that we also have on our toolkit, the scenes. Most people don't have good drawing skills. That means here's a great tool you can use, our most downloaded asset all over the world, where you can create user stories in PowerPoint also, with lots of templates. We just added a diversity also toolkit on top of it. And you can use this in your customer projects to visualize what's the user story. Be a catalyst for the cultural change. I think because of the skills that we have as designers, we can help driving the transformation of companies, also of the culture in the organization. And check out our innovation toolkit. We have more than 50 methods and tools on our toolkit. Scenes as an example, .bot, a tool to design a chatbot. Spectrum is a tool to build up an innovation team. And for every phase in the process, from explore to discover to design, we have really great methods, tools available that you can just use in your existing projects. And now talking a little bit about the AppHaus. And I would like to start with a quote from Fraunhofer Institute. I think for more than 7 years, the SAP AppHaus has been a true role model for creative space to drive innovation, and only few innovation teams are capable to survive and thrive over such a long period of time. Because many innovation teams, after 2 to 3 years, don't exist anymore, because they fulfilled their mission and then get back into the standard organization. And they also, many of them, cannot show what is the value for the company, because people look at what's the investment, what's the outcome. And to tell you a little bit about our journey as an AppHaus team, we started in the beginning with SAP usability sucks. Customers complained about usability. We took somebody from IT people at the customer side going to the end users, and it was for them eye-opening, because they didn't really know what the real needs are of the end users. And this whole complaining turned into, can you help us? Because many of the screens we saw were not built by SAP, they were built by partners or by customers themselves. And then they helped us. The complaining turned into ask for help. Can you help us building up the design competence in our organization? Because our big customers have thousands of people in IT who build on top of SAP technology user experiences. And they started also building up design skills in their organization. But we continued then as a team, and at the time also the Mafiori was initiated at SAP, but we continued applying this design-led approach to reimagine business processes and business models. And our first project on business processes was AMG, the nice cars of Daimler. And BD was also part of this one, where we took the end users participating at a 3-year car development process into one big room and let them model in a gamification way how they work. And they found out that 50% of the challenges are not in software. These were organizational challenges. And I think this is where I really start seeing the big power of a design-led and human-centered approach of innovation. We continued also applying the same thing for business model innovation. And then thought about, because the AppHaus team itself, we have 5 locations: Heidelberg, Berlin, Palo Alto, New York, and Seoul, Korea. And I thought about, how can we scale it? And then I started a franchising model for partners. That means SAP partners, typically SAP implementation partners, who build already on top of SAP technology, SAP business technology platform, customer-specific solution or products. They all have the same mindset. They have a creative space, they apply human-centered approach, they have a certain amount of design thinking and design skills, And in return, they provide 2 customer references for us. And this is meanwhile a network of 17 partners all over the world with 12,000 employees who all built on top of SAP technology innovative solutions. At that time, 2016, our customers also approached us, guys, we want to transform our organization like MTU, Rolls-Royce, or can you help us building such an AppHaus in our organization? We even helped Daimler at the time building up such a creative space on their main campus and trained in 3 months 1,500 people on design thinking. Then we were front runners with Leonardo Technologies. We provided our innovation toolkit. We were front runners of the topic of future of work, but also from a methodology point of view, with our human-centered approach, we combined design thinking and architecture thinking, this enterprise architecture together, because only if you can make innovation real in a complex customer environment, you will be successful. And recently, what we started is looking at repeatable use cases. We were working a lot on creating customer references, customer success stories, getting customers talking about the great SAP and the great benefit they have and about the great approach. But we are now also focusing on getting repeatable use cases out of customer engagements where multiple customers can benefit from. Now, you hear a little about our journey, and you see that we also, our team constantly adapted to new situations. And I think that's also one of the reasons why we still exist, that we are also flexible as a team to adapt. Is it easy? Definitely not. Because you need to work on your skills and also work on new technologies, on new products. But it's really, really, really exciting. Now, we have 22 AppHaus locations globally, all over the world. We are going to open up now a partner AppHaus in South Africa in just a couple of weeks. And this network of partners, they have 12,000 employees. It's pretty huge, and they all build innovations on top of SAP technology. And the good thing is we are looking more for small, nimble, agile partners between, I would say, 100, maximum 1,000 employees, not the big companies like the IBMs or Accentures, because they are also big companies, pretty slow. They have a similar concept like Liquid Studio, IBM Garage, which I heard doesn't exist anymore and was rebranded. However, I think our approach is small partners responsible for a certain region, working with the market unit together, giving SAP salespeople and the possibility to get with customers into a creative environment in the region, and also having a partner to make innovation real. We did more than 1,000 customer projects. Our currency were still customer stories, customers talking about it, because only if customers talk about it, we can change the perception of SAP being the innovation partner of choice. And if you look at what value do we bring as an AppHaus team, this year, with the projects we're running, more than 100,000 live end users, adoption, for sure. We also help to sell our products. We let the learnings that we make in projects flow back into the products. Created this year probably more than 200 Jira items to really help improve also our product. And in the last years, we won more than 40 awards, because it's important that also others externally recognize some of the different way of working and recognize SAP in a different way. And why are we doing that? Because our passion is, and our vision is, that this human-centered approach for innovation needs to come into all customer engagements. And what does it mean, all customer engagements? SAP has 450,000 customers, more than 20,000 partners, 40,000 people in the field organization, where many of them still are talking about products and technology. And it's a huge thing. And for sure, we as an AppHaus team alone can never be successful, because we're just a comparable, very small team. The way how we work is, we as an SAP AppHaus team, we focus always on incubation projects. Okay, the next technology, now this repeatable use cases, which is something new that needs to be incubated. It was Leonardo at the time. And then we scale it with the AppHaus network partners. And last but not least, all knowledge that we have, best practices about human-centered innovation, we make available for free on our AppHaus webpage or in our innovation toolkit, that any partner, any customer in a low-touch mode can get access to this kind of information. Because honestly, if a person in the customer IT organization, based on looking, that decides going for half day to the worker into the factory, it makes the project already 20% better. Yeah, and not just building something technically that later on nobody's going to use. And with this, I'm really so confident there has never been a better time for designers. I think it's such a great opportunity for all of us to also in the product organizations build a more stronger role. Yeah? And not just say, okay, I'm designing the Fiori screen. Yeah? Really question about the business process, make the connection to the customer, try to get this outside in view. And we have too much sometimes inside out driven. Yeah? And I see more and more designers getting into the roles of product owners, where and I think it's great opportunities for designers to strive, to develop, and have a bigger impact with design on our products, but also on our partners and our customers. And I think with this, I would like to thank, and you saw in the background several nice pictures from snowboarding, probably the winter season starting soon. My passion is about snowboarding. I like the pictures a lot, and snowboarding is really also about trying it out, failing. If you start practicing something, you are not the pro from the beginning on, and it's the same with design. Yeah, try out things, learn, and then over time you will really become professional. Have a great opportunity to grow. With this, I think we can open it up now for questions.